All right, we're going to do a 2-for-1 here. UAB basketball, men's and women's. Let's talk about UAB basketball. Whoever wants to start.
I'm going to let Jerod take off and start first. You know, he's the newbie on the block, and I'm going to let him tell you how great of a season he's going to have this year.
All right, Jerod.
Well, with the new staff and team that's getting used to a new system, I think we'll have some adjustments to be made, but I know the team is really fired up and they've been totally bought into what we're doing, so we're optimistic that we're going to get after it, play hard, and see what we can do.
Has it been a short learning curve or a long one as far as guys understanding the basics and all, especially drill-wise?
It's been really quick. They've picked up things very quickly, and this year was the first year the NCAA allowed us to work with our guys during the summer, so that was a real benefit to be able to throw some things in for about 4 or 5 months now, as opposed to trying to get everything in right before the season, in the fall. So the guys have bought in, and I think being able to throw that information out to them has been good.
Audra, practice has started for the women, so
yes.
What's going on?
You tell me. No.
No, because I don't want me to say it.
No, all jokes aside, it's been great. It's been great. The young women, the returners, have been awesome with the newbies. I call them newbies, not freshmen. And they've done a really good job of leadership, stepping in, helping them out in drills, helping them to understand our philosophy, and knowing what to expect from me and from the rest of the staff. So it's been high energy. They've been really getting after it. We've been doing a lot of different things. We've thrown some things in early. We've allowed them to get up and down and play a lot more, because we have some young kids that that really need to play. They need to play, and with the shot clock, because just a couple months ago they weren't playing with the shot clock. So there's a big learning curve there, but they're doing exceptionally well. I'm really proud of them, and they're excited about the start of the season.
Since practice has started for you, who has stood out freshman-wise, our newbie, and upper-class leadership?
Well, upper-class leadership would have to be Charisma Chapman. Charisma has really stepped up. Last year she was pretty much leading by example, still trying to find her way as a sophomore. Now that she's a junior, we've been so very close, in the league in terms of getting over the hump, and for example, last year finishing tying for third place. So she's really been very aggressive, in terms of her leadership role, calling kids out when they're not working hard, things of that nature. In terms of newbies, it would have to be our JUCO transfer, Ashley Grimes. And she's a super athlete. I like to compare her to a kid like Brittany Carter that was at Memphis last year. Can jump out the gym, can play a variety of positions. Will really add another offensive dimension for us. Another option for us, which we need desperately.
Jerod, talk about the schedule.
Well, we have a monster schedule. Our road schedule is about as tough as any team in the country, I'd assume. We're at Creighton, who's maybe a top 10, probably top 15, the second game of the season. And we're at Dayton, at Middle Tennessee, at North Carolina, at Rutgers. And then we're in a preseason tournament with a couple of BCS teams as well. So the road schedule is going to be a big-time challenge, but I think our guys are very, very excited about it.
How familiar are you with Conference USA as far as on the men's basketball team?
Somewhat familiar. I'm probably more familiar with the coaches. I've had some relationships with some of the coaches for a number of years now, and have a lot of respect for the places they've been and the jobs they've done. And then once we get into the season and scouting reports, I'll be able to know a lot more about actual personnel and styles of play. But it's been a good experience so far.
Audra, talk about your schedule.
Well, again, we try to schedule as tough as possible. We have Vanderbilt on the schedule this year at Vandy, which will be a challenge for us. A couple of the teams that were postseason participants, in addition to UTC, Tennessee Martin. We'll play in a Thanksgiving Classic over at Samford University, right there in Birmingham. So we have some challenging teams on the schedule. But then, that'll help us get ready. It always does. I mean, every year we put together our schedule with a variety of teams that play a lot of different styles. But styles similar to the teams that we're going to play in Conference USA. We'll play teams that are primarily half-court teams that are primarily zone teams. We'll play teams that are a lot like ourselves, that are transition, full-court pressing type teams, to get us ready. And, I feel like our schedule is going to be very challenging. Fortunately for us this season, we have a lot more games at home, which is great. But we will go on the road and take on some pretty tough teams on the road.
Talk about the girls making an adjustment going into Vanderbilt and playing in their facility, because most people are not accustomed with that that arrangement as far as where the benches are, where you have to report into the onto the floor at.
Well, what we'll probably do, I mean, I've played there before. We played at Vandy before, a couple of years ago. Maybe a couple of practices we'll do is we'll switch it up a little bit and put the benches on the end of the court, just so that they get an idea and get an actual feel for, the setup of the arena and how it's going to feel. I mean, it's difficult to coach in there because, when your team's on the opposite end, offensively, you can't give instruction. So it's difficult. But, I think it's a unique arena. I mean, it'll be a great challenge for us to go in and play a team of the caliber of Vanderbilt, and it'll be great, RPI game, great for our schedule.
Jerod, talk about the adjustment of coming in from now, it's coming in with another set of kids, coaches' kids, and then making that adjustment and all the philosophy. Are they the long learning curve or short?
The learning curve's been fairly short, and the reason is because the last staff did a good job of bringing in high character kids. It's a great group of guys that have, again, bought into what we're talking about, and there really haven't been a whole lot of issues of selfishness or anything like that. And again, it goes back to it's a group of high character kids, and really makes my job a lot easier.
All right, both of you all. What's going on at UAB? What's newbie? What's new on campus?
What's new on campus? Hey, this guy's new on campus. This is the hottest thing on campus right here. What is it, October 19th? We're on the Haase vault, baby. We're getting down with the get down. You guys got to come and see. He doesn't know yet. He and I are having a dance off, and I'm a little worried. I got to go and practice because I've heard he's got some moves, so I got to get home and get my system down. So he's come in with a lot of energy, and
I'm not gonna say. I'm just gonna point, Coach. I'm just gonna point.
I won't be at my own event. I'm staying home that night.
Coach, that's all I'm gonna do. Just point. That's all.
He's come in with a lot of energy, and I know the guys very well. That's the unique thing about UAB is that all of our athletes are very close. From football to men's basketball, women's basketball, softball, volleyball, they're very close. They talk to each other, and as coaches, we all support each other. And so I've had an opportunity to have little, conversations here and there with some of the guys and kind of check in with them and see how they're doing. And they're happy, and they are working hard, and they're buying in. And I'm just excited to see some of them, hit the floor this season. A couple of them weren't able to hit the floor last season for various reasons, but I'm really excited about them hitting the floor, and they're excited about what he's bringing, his style of play and what he's bringing into UAB. So, it's a fun time. It's a fun time.
And as we close out, Coach, I did mention she would hog the camera. All right, now reintroduce yourselves. First, you, Coach.
Jerod, Haase, head coach at UAB.
You, Audra.
You all should know me. Audra Smith, head coach at University of Alabama at Birmingham.
And this is Jerry Lee Woodley Jr. with the King Size View College Sports Report.